Namaskar, Gurudev, and thank you very much for speaking with me on Frankly Speaking. I want to ask you, we've seen the Dhwajarohan. This is also the year of 150th year of Vande Matram. Are we seeing a civilizational renaissance, so to speak, in India?
Absolutely. We need to keep reminding of our pride again and again to our younger generations. So, this year, which marks 150 years, has again brought that same wave of patriotism which we had, pre-independence. So I think this is it's a very, very timely thing to bring those things into our consciousness.
Gurudev, we also saw the completion of the Ayodhya Ram Mandir, a struggle that you have been trying to solve for I don't know how many decades. Now, the completion of this mandir at Ayodhya for Prabhu Ram, what does this signify to you?
Dhwajarohan happens when something is completed or when something begins. There are various systems in this country. For every festival, the first Dhwajarohan happens in the south, and then for 9 days, 10 days, and the Brahmotsav happens, and then they bring down the Dhwaja, and you will see every temple has a Dhwaja Stambha. Now, after the completion of this most beautiful, long-awaited temple, when the Dhwaja is there on the top of the temple, it just brings the completion, a sense of satisfaction, a sense of achievement for millions of people.
Gurudev ji, I want to ask you because you were there at the Pran Pratishtha in January last year. Now the completion, but every single time there have been questions that have been raised. Was it okay to do the Pran Pratishtha at that time when it was not completed? Is it okay to do it now by the political leader of this country? Somewhere the whole question of bringing politics into this, that is it the ruling party's agenda that they have hijacked rather than a spiritual and a religious agenda?
There is a saying, wise saying in Sanskrit, Loko binna mataha, Loko binna ruchihi. So people have different opinions. There is not one tradition. There are so many traditions of this country. Some agree, some disagree. But the main thing is, yes, we need to uplift the pride of the civilization. We need to, celebrate occasions like this. This is the time, instead of, we finding fault with this or that, everyone come together and celebrate. And of course, as the Pant Pradhan, the head of the nation, our Prime Minister's hoisting the flag was very apt. I don't see there is any question. There should be any question about that.
Let me also ask you, the Prime Minister on the occasion of the Dhwajarohan also said that it was time that we decolonized our minds as a nation. What do you think that message really means?
Well, the colonial mindset, where we just put down our own culture, people go from here, they change their clothes, the way they dress, or they used to change their names also. But, now that has stopped. Actually, it has taken a turn, 180 degrees turn, that people are taking pride in their own roots, in their own culture, and not feel ashamed of their identity. This is very important for any nation or any culture to survive. They shouldn't be ashamed, feeling they're not good enough. you know. Um, that change is needed. You have to own what you rightfully have been inherited. You know, if you throw away your own inheritance, like Ayurveda, yoga, or even mathematics, and the science that our ancient people have, you know, discovered and nurtured, and we have completely, the whole Indian system of knowledge has been sidelined for centuries. And now that revival of it, without being prejudice of any sort, is always good. I feel that is necessary, but any type of prejudice or putting others down is not part of our tradition, our culture. You know, it's not India. We don't put down anybody. At the same time, we don't put down ourselves also.
Well said. But do you think in our own minds, somewhere we were still slaves, as many people say, that we've been slaves to the colonial hangover? We've still got a hangover of many of the practices that we inherited from our times as a subjugated nation. Do you think we still carry that within our minds, on our shoulders?
You know, we have, of course, you know, there is a scope of improvement all the time. You know, this country, time and again, reformers have come, and we are very open to reform. When we say we are open to reform, we are open to progressive thinking. That does not mean we, you know, ignore, neglect, or put down all the good things of the past. So we need to carry the right, you know, and the good things that we need to take pride in. At the same time, there are certain practices which has come in time, you know, like the caste system, some things in the caste system where we were not treating everybody properly. Those sort of things, right from Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara, there has been reformers in this country trying to reform the system, and still it lingers on here and there. So Swami Dayanand, Maharishi Dayanandji had done, even his centenary year was there recently. He has done tremendous work, Maharishi Dayanand, through Arya Samaj, and there are many, many incidences, you know, like Narayan Guru in South in Kerala, who stood against, you know, all the, you know, Andhavishwas, superstitions. So this is a very dynamic civilization of ours. We carry on forward what is good, what is universal in nature, and we always remove those sort of things which has been clogging our evolution.
But Gurudev, don't you think our caste system enumeration still exists in a big way, at least in politics? We've just seen the recent elections in Bihar. People, you know, at least in the political arena, speak no other language other than caste combination that can give them better results in elections.
See, the caste system gets into focus when election comes. Otherwise, you know, you will see nobody asks the caste of a doctor when they are sick, when they go to a doctor. They don't ask the caste of a lawyer, you know, or judge. So, and teachers, in schools you have teachers of all different castes, and students go and study under them. This doesn't come, even now when it comes to marriage and things like that, of course there is, but it is much less, much less than what it used to be before. So as I said, we are in a very good times. I would say we are in a very progressive mood. In this progressive scientific era of ours, where our youngsters are so dynamic, there are entrepreneurs everywhere, there are startups like nowhere else. We have so many startups in this country among the youngsters, and our Gen Z especially are more focused in progress, and that's how our country is, is coming up, is floating above the floods that is happening in the whole world. People are becoming much more dynamic and more open-minded. Yeah. And now this is the time to tell them or instill that pride in their own culture, in their own roots, and make them understand they need to honor their roots, not just brush it aside or throw it as irrelevant. Especially the values in our system where we value our parents, we value our teachers, we value our guests and our neighbors. These are all some things that the world appreciates India for what it is.
Well said, Gurudev, but when we talk about decolonization, where do we begin? Should textbooks be rewritten? Should we substitute English with an Indian language? Which language should that be? It should be Hindi, or it should be a link language, which is a regional language. How do we resolve all of these issues? Because there are such deep fault lines that exist within our own country.
Because we are a continent. And Navika, we must understand we are not one small country with one language. We are a continent. And we have so many different languages. And there is anxiety and fear among the regional groups that maybe our language will get lost. Our people will forget our own mother tongue. And that concern or fear must be addressed. So in this sense, I would say the 3-language formula is best for our country, where Hindi, our national language, English, our international language, and the regional language, local language, for example, Kannada here. There is a pride in Kannada, and there are literatures in Kannada like, it's very unique, like nowhere. And if people stop reading or even understanding their own mother tongue, they all turn to either English or Hindi. It's a big loss for the world. Similarly with the Tamil. Tamil has their own pride because 4 nations in the world have taken Tamil as their official language. Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia. In their currency there is Tamil. It's written in Tamil. So Tamil has got their own pride. And Tamilians, of course, are very concerned whether imposition of Hindi will make them lose the importance of their own language. So same with Assam also, or Bengal. So we need to address these concerns, and for that this 3-language formula which currently we have should be encouraged. There is no way that we can say English should be replaced now, today. Like you cannot have, then you can't even have Times Now, right? So you can't even have, we don't want to cut ourselves off from the international arena. English has been, whether fortunately, unfortunately, we have got into that sort of space. Even China and Russia, people there are learning English. So we cannot say we don't want English. At the same time, we cannot say Hindi should be banned. This is not acceptable. This is one language which the whole country should study and read, and that comes with persuasion. When we were young, when we were in schools, there used to be a Dakshin Bharat Hindi Prachar Samiti. They used to conduct Hindi mein classes lete the wo. This is not in the curriculum, outside the curriculum. And they would give some awards, some prizes, and people had pride in attending to those classes and getting certificate from them. इस तरह की जो एक एक्शन जो है, that slowly brings that barrier that people had here in the south of India against Hindi. Bollywood has played a very big role in lessening this gap, language gap. Similarly, the religious tourism, for example, the Shabarimala, all the South Indian states, they go for darshan. There, Tirupati is another place where, they bridged all the language gaps.
Language.
So spiritual tourism, eco-tourism, all this has helped to integrate people. And when people go from here to Delhi for the first time, they feel they used to get lost before, but now they know, at least they speak a little bit of Hindi. That is that communication starts happening. I think persuasion of learning the language is very important. Hindi is a must, and so also English as far as we think globally. And then regional languages must be given real preference.
Well, then, Gurudev, why do we see so much of political opposition to the three-language formula which the new education policy actually propagates? Nobody is saying, the regional language or, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu should be replaced. The only advocacy there is that have a three-language formula, but learn English and Hindi as well. But there are political parties that have opposed that.
Yeah, the political parties have a very different stand on all these things. They see the pulse of people. They see what people are concerned in the mind. And sometimes instead of giving them a solution, it becomes easier to flow with their concern and, give impotence to their emotions.
Okay, so it is just an emotional position that they seem to be taking, not giving a solution, but probably making a problem out of the solution, as you suggested. But Gurudev, I also want to ask you, when we speak of Renaissance, of India's old civilization norms, what do you make of the pending issues, Kashi, Mathura? You've always been an advocate of resolving issues through dialogue. That doesn't seem to be happening. Matters are in courts. How do you think those issues are going to be addressed?
Dialogue is the best way. We have to have dialogue with the parties, with the people, and that is very, very important.
But do you think the Places of Worship Act should continue as it is, or do you think it should be scrapped?
Well, I have not studied those acts fully. I don't want to comment on that. But what I say is Kashi, Mathura, Ayodhya, these were the desires of people from long, long time. And so these can, like Ayodhya was so resolved, and Kashi, Mathura also should be resolved through dialogue. This much I would say. But some people say, oh, we want to take over all the mosques. I mean, that is sheer nonsense. You cannot do like that. Say that all the mosques, we will take over 3,000 places and all. It doesn't make sense. It causes more fear and insecurity among the minorities, and it is not right. It's not good for our country to have a big section of our own people, being in fear or anxiety, and we create a wedge between them, between our own self. That's not. It's not healthy for our society. It may all this rhetoric may sound good for little while to maybe regroup oneself, but in the long run it is बहुत नुकसान करता है ये सब रिटोरिक जो कहते हैं ना. अरे सबको अपनाना, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की बात हमारी, we have always said the word global family, the world is one family, And how can you not be respectful for another member of our own family?
Gurudev, I also want to ask you, you have just returned from Kashmir. I want to ask you, how, through your eyes, do you see changes in Jammu and Kashmir between 2019 after the abrogation of Article 370 till today?
Oh, sea of change, a big change. The infrastructures have developed so much. I went there after 7 years, and such a big change. People are moving around without fear. Like earlier days, it was not the same. There is so much, but the youth there still have some concerns in their minds, in their hearts, and that need to be healed. We need to bring them together, and that is very important. So I went there with almost 500 people, because the whole tourism had stopped after Falgam thing, and then they had taken a very big hit. The society, the shopkeepers, the hoteliers, and everybody. So we went, and that brought the confidence back again, and we had the big program there. About 20,000 people from all the universities and colleges came from faraway places in the stadium, and the love and the unity they showed, it was really heartwarming to see their enthusiasm to have. We started the drug-free Kashmir and then, de-radicalization, very important. That can happen, when more people intermingle. We get them come out of, that small thinking of we are separate, you are separate. We are all one. That we are a part of one Noor, and they're such beautiful people. They are part of India. They know. And they
know, but
appreciate
for
that.
for a long time, they've had concerns about being a part of India. Now, if you say that the move is towards being a part of India, it's great movement, but you said they had some misgivings. What are these misgivings that they still have, and that still needs to be addressed?
Yeah, just building the bridges, healing the wounds, and correcting that few misconceptions, misguided things that they were into. Those sort of, reaching out. And
you spoke about the problem of radicalization. How big do you think this problem is? We've recently seen the Delhi bomb blast, and the investigations so far show doctors, working in medical universities and hospitals involved in this entire plot. What do you think is the subtext, and how do you think this issue of radicalization can be tackled head on?
this is a problem around the world. So these radical elements have brought a very bad name for Islam, and also it's a big concern the whole humanity has about the radical people elements, and de-radicalization is something that has to happen. Many imams and many Sufi Muslims are standing with us to see that de-radicalization happens. Lot of Sufi saints and religious leaders, they speak for de-radicalization. They are not. We should not say that everyone is supporting the radical Islam. No, not at all. Even Saudi is against radical, mindset. So the world, in the world, well-educated people who have broad mindset, they all want de-radicalization, and that can happen through interfacing with these people. I went to the prison in Srinagar, I met with them, I had talked with many of them, and we are having courses there in the prison. That has made a big difference. You should listen to their experiences, how, they find sort of inner peace. When a person is peaceful from within, he doesn't go and hit or kill somebody. Only with the rage and misgivings in their mind, that makes them violent. The root cause of violence is lack of inner peace. And that's why I would say meditation is absolutely necessary for people to find that inner peace. Once they find a calmness within themselves, it is impossible for them to go and commit such crimes. Because the humanity wakes up in them.
Very well said, Gurudev, because it's the second World Meditation Day on the 21st of December this year. Just the last year, UN declared the first ever World Meditation Day, and you led this in the UN first time with 8.5 million people participating. How do you plan to take this forward in terms of inner peace, which is something I think the entire world, the population of the world requires, not any particular section only?
Yeah, this year I'm going for the World Meditation Day, first in Geneva, where they are having in the United Nations in Geneva on the 19th, and then on the 19th I go and do it in 17th in Geneva, and on the 19th I go to New York to the United Nations. There we do the World Meditation Day, because 21st falls on a Sunday, so we will be doing it on a Friday when all the the officials and dignitaries will also want to participate. So we are keeping it on. They are keeping it. I mean the UN people are keeping it, and our permanent mission to India is also part of that organizing committee. So this shows that the world today recognizes the importance of meditation for modern ills. Today we see the mental health is the biggest issue in the world, number one. Number two, loneliness. Can you imagine in America, 47% of the population is feeling lonely, and suicidal tendencies are on rise. The answer to all this is meditation, finding that inner peace. So I'm glad after so many years, we have been teaching meditation for 45 years now. After so many years, last year, when 192 countries recognized the importance of meditation to tackle mental health, I think it's going to change the world.
True, mental health is a huge issue, but many people not addressing that issue. Awareness and the fact that there are possibilities of going through a certain amount of meditation and training to resolve these issues is also something I think people need to realize. But when I see, and I want to ask you this, Shishi Ravi Shankar, Gurudev ji, because you go to Kashmir. We saw the Delhi bomb blast case where there is a doctor, Dr. Umar, who put out a chilling video and called, suicide bombing as the shortcut to martyrdom. How do you peep into the mind of such an individual? What is he thinking? What is he going through? Because if you've seen that video, it's chilling because it is very calmly stated.
I have worked with many such people throughout the world. The 8 lakh prisoners around the world, 800,000 prisoners around the world have undergone meditation and Kriya, and you must listen from their own words, from their own mouth, how their whole thinking has changed, how their perception has changed, how they perceive the world, it has changed. The humanness in them awakens. As I said, these people have misconception, of dreaming about going to heaven by destroying people here. These are the things, the misnomers which need to be cleared. When they get a real, true spiritual experience, they wouldn't, they cannot, it's impossible for them to get into crime. 6,000 such criminals or gang members in Denmark alone, when they did meditation, it changed the whole atmosphere. I have seen this happening in the conflict in Colombia, in Argentina. I've seen this in our own country. The Naxalism in this country, I have been to many areas in Bihar. The Ranveer Sena, you might not heard anything about those mass murders that we have heard before. We used to have here in this country, in Bihar. These are all because of lack of the spiritual experience in people. So put these people in a prison and give some time for them to meditate, and put one instructor, a teacher, to teach them. You see how they change.
But some people say this is a result of the circumstances that they live in. Do you believe it is circumstances? What do you believe is the cause for this?
Ill education, I would say.
But then these are doctors,
but ill-educated.
Trained doctors.
That shows very clearly. Just teaching them some skills for their life is not enough. They need moral and spiritual education. Education in humanity is necessary. Humanity is not just art and culture and dance and music. It is that value, of compassion, of caring, of sense of belongingness, understanding others' point of view. These are the things that they need to inculcate. We need to see where they have gone wrong, where in their mindset there is such a block to cause harm to others. Why don't they see the others as them, like what will happen to them if those things happen to what they are doing to others? This sort of putting oneself in others' shoes, that is real education. Building personality is education. Being caring and sharing mindset is essential. Seeing beyond one's identity is essential. One identifies oneself with a caste or a religion, and they see the others are a threat to them. This fear has to be, done with. They need to open their minds and hearts and embrace everybody. Understand? And these are all part of education that we need to bring. I hope this new education policy will inculcate these values in our young minds, and not think making someone a doctor and an engineer is good enough to be called educated. They are not really educated, ill-educated.
But I, in the end, want to ask you just one last question. How do you resolve the contradictions that exist? I completely agree with you that we cannot demonize an entire community, but the fault lines that exist, for example, Vande Matram 150th year, there are stanzas that were cut off from Vande Matram, in 1947 and around that time, because they referred to Ma Durga, Ma Lakshmi, Ma Saraswati. Those were cut off because they would hurt a certain community. That is on the one side. But on the other side, I agree with you, we cannot demonize one. How do we resolve these contradictions?
As I said, that mindset what was there 40 years ago, 50 years ago, is not what it is now. Those days we were still coming out of the colonial mindset. And that was unfortunate that we took certain decisions which is not, affirming our faith in who we are. At the same time, I would say, look at Indonesia. In their currency note, there is Ganesha. They don't feel shy in claiming their roots. Their language is full of Sanskrit words, Bhumiputra, and their names are like that. They do even Ramayana, though they follow Islam. Their religion is Islam, but their culture, they don't demean their roots. So we must learn from there and, move along, not politicize everything. Our problem is we politicize culture, and that's where we get hurt. That's where we get more divided. Okay?
In the end, Gurudev, just one message that you want to give people of India today, where we stand.
You are very fortunate. You have huge opportunity to grow. When you grow materially, don't ignore or forget your inner wealth. Meditate. World Meditation Day is just coming very soon, but start meditating from now on. Take it as a challenge. Like dental hygiene, I would call this meditation as mental hygiene. Every day, 20 minutes, sit and relax and meditate. And there are apps, you can get into the app. There are many apps. Sattva app is one such app. You can sit and do guided meditation or any form of meditation that you like. That will keep you happy, resilient, and service-minded. And that's all I want to say. Om Shanti.
Always a pleasure speaking with you, Gurudev. Thank you very much for joining me on Frankly Speaking. We do hope you have a good trip promoting meditation across the world. And of course, for India, it's a proud moment when you take the Indian civilizational message to the world.
Namaste.